We are back on the ML Sports Platter, brought to you by Batavia Downs Gaming and Welch and Company Jewelers, here to talk some basketball with one of my favorites, not just in sports, but in life, a good friend of mine, Jim Crowley, the head women's basketball coach of the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. You'll hear this interview after their game against Loyola, but it's been a busy time in the A10. Just had a roadie against Dayton. Tough outcome for you, Coach, and I know you're getting set for the rest of the year, and it's been flying by. It was amazing to see you last week in Olean, by the way, as well. Thanks for coming on for a couple minutes.
Well, thanks for having me, and seeing you twice in a week is a treat for me. So I appreciate it, Mike.
Crazy. I feel the same way. I know you and I talked about just, I guess, because it's always top of mind, right? NIL portal craziness, and people can get exhausted talking about that stuff. But you kind of had a little shine in your eye, a little bright, feeling in your face and in your voice too about you really like your squad this year.
I do, and it's for me that's just such an important thing, and I think one of the things that I really liked, and they've welcomed who we are as Bonaventure, and they've allowed us to get to know them, and thus we've been able to reciprocate that, and they've kind of leaned into each other, leaned into Bonaventure, and we certainly would always want to have more wins, but I like how we're playing. They're a good group to be around.
So the Bonaventure thing is something that you and I both know, and I think some people who don't know it, who know me and are close to me, they think I'm crazy. But it is a cult thing. It's a family thing. You have to explain it sometimes to people, right? So in this new world that we're in, how do you explain the Bonaventure thing to people, players who recruits, transfer portal people, whoever it might be in the basketball world? Because if it does get to somebody the right way and it's kind of magnetic, it can help you, right? So, that might be something that you use to help your program build and add people. How do you use it in today's world where it's a little different? Hey, this is how we do things and it might work for you.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like specifically with this year's group, like just about everyone on our roster has a connection to Bonaventure. Like they know somebody, and to your point earlier, like if you know someone who went to Bonaventure or has a family member who went to Bonaventure, then you understand it. Like how many times, oh, my cousin went to Bonaventure and that's all he talks about.
Right.
Like it's that, and to me that's great. That's why I love being here. But we tell people when they come visit or even before they come visit, like ours is a place you kind of got to see, but ours is a place you either feel or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, I mean, not to go too crazy, but I think that comes just from the Franciscan vibe that what the school was started on, and I'm sure that you felt as a student, that I felt in my 20 plus years being around the campus. It's just there's just a vibe that if it's right for you and you feel it, then that's why I think people end up so passionate about it, because if you know, and the folks who have done it know it, and it's something that is with you forever.
Yeah, I know most people, when the Bona thing comes up and I walk in the room, they're like, he's crazy. Let's just move on. Jim Crowley with us here on the platter, talking some women's hoops. So, the A10, man, every year, right? It's like, it's grind city, home and road. Like it feels like the conference, it gets better, more competitive. What does it look like this year for you overall? And you've got, as we record this, 3, 6, about 8 games to go. So how do you line up the rest of the year? And it's just skill sets keep improving. Coaches' playbooks, right? They keep expanding in today's world, right? I mean, this has been another A10 season, some of what you probably remember from years ago, but more competitive maybe than ever.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I mean, we have some teams that are just playing great basketball: Rhode Island, George Mason, Richmond, and then everybody else playing good basketball. And it's who's making plays at the end of the game. We played Dayton the other day, and on the road, a really tough place to play against a really good team. And credit to them, they had a big 3 late, and it's so who's making the plays late. We play Loyola tomorrow, who's been playing great basketball recently. I think won 5 of 6, and so it's just a really highly competitive league. There's just no nights off, and that tests your depth, that tests your your will, that tests your ability, and to your point, great coaching in this league, and now with all the access to analytics and to numbers and to film. People are just doing great things with that.
Do you love the game as much as you did when you started? Is it as much? Is it more? Where do you land on the passion part and the love of the game?
I think it evolves. When I first wanted to do this, it was a love of the game. Then there was some love of the excitement of the arena. Then there was love of the challenge.
Yeah.
You know, it, Now I like the love of the teaching. I think has been the consistent thing, and getting someone to really get it. And that's the hard part, right? If people are leaving, nobody gets things quickly. That's just a
Yeah.
reality. And but to be able to have that opportunity to help someone um, gain confidence, or find a way to feel really good about what they're doing. I hope that part never goes away.
Yeah, that's just the thing. When I think of all you coaches, I can't imagine how difficult. I mean, whether you're recruiting somebody in high school or it's a portal person, and I heard our broadcast last week. Sitting next to Mike Corey and the crew, it was said, well, there's Osasui and Joe G, a couple of guys who the future of Bonaventure. I'm going, how do you know that? Not NIL portal and trying to connect with people and build a team in that relationship. Then it's the next lily pad, and the next lily pad. So I was just curious in today's day and age, like how that works, and that you try to get a bond, you try to get the connection, you want everything to stay, and you're a big sustainability and relationship guy too. So I just got a couple more quick ones for you, if you don't mind, Jim.
No, go ahead.
When you get into, I mean, you've been the highs, you've been at the lows, you've been on a roller coaster your whole career. That's part of the job, as you know. But when you get into a spot where it's so hard to kind of climb out. When you get on a 3 or 4 game losing streak, or you lose 6 or 7, and Mark's been going through it this year as well on the men's side. Like, what do you do on the daily? Is it literally just get up, grab your breakfast, and keep grinding? Is there a new idea in practice? Is there time off? Do you try different strategies? When you get into that, you're trying to shift those from the right column to the left, right? More consistently. Is there anything that you're jumping at to do differently? Because that's got to be a hard deal when you get in those ruts, and everybody's gone through them. But is there anything you do, whether it was then or now, to just try to climb out of this thing?
Well, I think from a head coach perspective, two things. One, you got to make sure you're consistent. Not that you don't listen to new ideas, not that you don't try different things, but I think it's vital that your players still see you believing in what you're doing, and that you're consistent with that. And then I think the other thing from a head coach point, you got to make sure you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Losing is really hard, and doing so in a public forum is, I mean, it can take a real toll, of actual physical toll. And it could take a toll on relationships. It could take, so if you're not aware of yourself and some things that you can do to stay consistent, and to make sure you're still staying kind of in the moment, that your team knows that too, and then it gets harder to dig out.
Final thing I have for you is everywhere I go, and it happened again on campus last week. When I text people I know, a lot of people, when your name comes up, everybody's, man, we're so glad he's back. We're so glad he's back. It's so nice to have him walking around campus again. I felt it when I saw you walk out of the office in the hall. I was like, there he is. And it was like 2001 again for me, So everybody has that same feeling. When you hear me say that and other people say, it's just so great to have Jim Crowley back at St. Bonaventure University, what's that make you feel like?
It's surreal. Like, I didn't never think anybody would like want me around. Like, it just it's very humbling. It's appreciative, because to me, like, this is all I ever wanted to do. And in life, and I don't mean to sound great philosophical here, but like in life, you get three things, right? You get to hopefully pick who you want to be around. You hopefully get to pick where you want to live, and you hopefully get to pick what you want to do. And very few times you get all three, and I'm living all three. So I mean, I've got the greatest wife in the world. I work at the place I want to work, and I live where I want to live. So I'm the thankful one. I'm so appreciative, and I just hope people keep saying it over the next few years.
Well, I think we're going to. And obviously, I had a blast with you and chatting last week and walking through the halls of the RC. I hadn't been back in a while, and I'm looking at the renovations and some of the historical things they did. And I started seeing people on the wall I covered, and I was like, oh
Yeah,
my gosh. And I
it looks
walked in
great. It looks
yeah, it
great
does.
there.
But I'm a little older too, Coach. I mean, I started putting the years in my mind. I said, Courtney Mattingly, and then we talked, you and I, and I was like, man, this is like 26 years ago, 20, I'm coming up on 30 years of graduation here, man.
Yeah, it happens fast, but yeah, what Bob Beretta, the athletic director, and the administration has done with the Riley Center and the upgrades and how they've taken care of all teams and the
Mhm.
building, it's just it's motivating. It's energizing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The head women's basketball coach for the Bonnies down at St. Bonaventure as they continue their A10 play and finish out the year here. Hopefully, a lot of wins to come, and wishing you the best the rest of the way. Jim Crowley, it's all brought to you by Welch and Company Jewelers and Batavia Downs Gaming. Jim, you're the best. Appreciate you, and we'll do it again soon, all right?
Thank you, Matt. All the best to you guys.